Got through all 18 weeks, and now we are here. The NFL playoffs have started. 2 home dogs, 2 huge spreads, 2 games somewhere in the middle, and we'll see how they all go when we break it down on the Super Wild Card Weekend edition of the Huddle, presented by OddsChecker. I'm Pat Mayo, joined, as always, every week by Brian Matthews, Pam Maldonado, and Ross Tucker to break down the Super Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. We're here. We went through 18 weeks. We made all of our picks, including a very impressive 6-2 performance on the best bets a week ago. And now we're going to talk about each of the games and tell you our favorite bets. Maybe your favorite bet is no bet from a game, because sometimes abstaining will not cause your bank account to, have some issues. Put it that way. Let's join everyone and talk about the Seahawks at the Niners, a divisional game kicking off Super Wild Card Weekend. The Niners are giant favorites in this game, and the line continues to fluctuate all around. It did hit double digits at one point. Currently, as I look at it, it's minus 9.5 for the Niners, the third time these teams have played throughout the course of the season. And none of the games have been particularly close. Even the one that was within 8 points on Thursday Night Football, Ross, didn't really feel like a game whatsoever. San Francisco just jumped up and held their lead.
No, you're right about that, Pat. And I do think, though, that's one factor to consider. With Geno Smith and those receivers, the backdoor cover, right? I think we all, I'm guessing, will be on the same page that the Niners are the better team. The Niners are highly likely to win the game. I will tell you, when the number was 10, I was thinking if it gets to 10.5, I'm going in on the Seahawks. I'm going in on the backdoor cover. 10.5, I'll take it. Now at 9.5, I'd probably lean ever so slightly to the 49ers just because of the absolute roll they've been on. But I almost never lay that many points in the NFL because they're not trying to win the game by double digits. They're just trying to win the game. So late in the game, they're not going to try to necessarily pour more points on. Late in the game, they might play a softer defense that allows Geno Smith to get them within one score with 30 seconds left or whatever. So slight lean to the Niners here at 9.5. Over 10, I tend to like the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm. So, Pam, I actually did some research for this one because, I really wanted to bring my A game. It's 2023. I might as well, right? Over the past 10 postseasons, the past decade, underdogs in the postseason games that have featured divisional opponents are 9-4 against the spread. However, double-digit point playoff favorites have covered 10 of their last 11 games. And the overs have cashed in 9 of them.
Well, that's perfect because I love the 49ers and I love the over. So I am right in line with the trend. I love Brock Purdy, and not just because he's a Big 12 person, but with him behind center. The 49ers at home, they're averaging 37 points per game. They're absolutely stellar. If you look at that second matchup that they had, the 49ers won 21-13. That was the Niners on the road. Running back Christian McCaffrey still went off for 108 rushing yards, but they didn't have Deebo Samuel in that game, and now he is back in the lineup. And Seattle's first touchdown in that last game didn't come until the final 5 minutes of the game. I love Geno Smith. I'm happy to see him in the postseason, but against the 49ers, we've already seen it. We've already seen this play out twice. Geno Smith against the Niners, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 sacks. What can he really do differently this time around that he wasn't able to do in the first 2? It's, for me, Brock Purdy at home. Give me the Niners. Give me the over.
Brian, over the last decade, home teams on Saturday in the first round of the playoffs are covering at a 63% rate.
It's not going to be enough to talk me off. My lean on San Francisco minus 9.5 here. I really like the Niners. They've been on a roll. Defensively, they look great. They also just got Eli Mitchell back, Deebo Samuel, and Mitchell has a big impact. They like to run a 2-back system there. Hey, look, they're rolling at the right time. Seattle's been playing on the opposite side of that. So my lean would be minus 9.5 San Francisco.
So it sounds like everyone is team San Francisco, except for you, Ross, because you can even try to middle this at some point, because I do kind of agree with you that I was kind of shocked when I saw it get to double digits, then fall back down. I assumed it was just going to keep trickling and trickling and trickling in favor of the 49ers. But I guess you're right. People are afraid of this back door.
Yeah, and look, people I think a lot of times think there's like a right side to be on. I think it's all about the number, right? Like I think the right number is the right part of this to be on. If it gets to 10.5, I really like the Seahawks. The Niners have been on an impressive run. We all know that. But man, I mean, it's just hard to win NFL games by that much, especially in the playoffs, especially with Geno Smith and those receivers and the way Geno's been playing so well for the most part this year. So it's about the number, not about the teams in this case.
Going to Saturday evening, the Chargers are traveling to the East Coast to take on Pam's Jags. They're 1-0 with Pam in attendance, and they've clinched a playoff spot every single time that Pam has been to a home Jags game. That's a nice trend to keep your eye on moving forward here. It's kind of interesting because I don't necessarily know exactly it seems like Mike Williams is going to be okay in terms of his back and that he's going to play. X-rays came back negative. He's still a bit sore. It looks like Joey Bosa is going to play. So it does seem like the Chargers are going to be at relatively full health going to this game. They are favored, and it opened at 2.5, and now it's somewhere between 1 and 1.5, depending on where you look. I recommend using OddsChecker to find the best line that you want to go get. However, this is a really tough one because I think on paper, when you look at it, that everyone is kind of building this case for the Chargers. Like, if it's not going to be one of the top 3 teams, Brian, in the AFC, the Chargers seemingly have the best shot as the team to kind of knock one of those teams off and go all the way to the Super Bowl. No one's really saying that about the Jags. It's more like, hey, they're happy to be there. However, when these two teams played back in week 3, the Jags absolutely obliterated them.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Jags have been playing well. I like what Trevor Lawrence has done. Their defense has picked it up. And actually in this game, my lean would be plus 1.5 Jacksonville. The Chargers defensively, they struggle in aspects of the game. I look at Jacksonville's defense. They can defend the pass. They can defend the run. And they've got some solid playmakers on offense. Trevor Lawrence is hitting his stride at the right time. You've got Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. And then on top of the fact that ETN will be, I'm sure, having much more productive this week. The Titans are a brick wall to run into. Chargers are not. So I actually like Jacksonville plus 1.5 here. I get the point that, hey, look, they're happy to be here, but the Chargers always have a way of, making one of those decisions that leave you scratching your head. And who knows how healthy Mike Williams is. I get that it's midweek here and we're talking about, he's going to play, but we saw him getting off the cart, in a meaningless game. Didn't look like he was, walking back there with ease. So, even if he plays, it's a limited capacity. They've got guys like Josh Palmer who have stepped up, but I like Jacksonville in this one. I really do.
Ross, do you see any parallels to Trevor Lawrence this year and Joe Burrow and the Bengals last year?
No, not really, because I didn't think Trevor Lawrence played all that well on Saturday night against the Titans in the matchup for the AFC South Championship. My big concern with this game is this the greatest playoff hair matchup of all time? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. I mean, look at me. I'm receding up there. Extremely jealous of the flow both of these guys are rocking out of their helmets. I did that 2004. I didn't get a haircut the whole year. I had like a little bit coming out the bottom, like a little bit, but not like these guys. I like the Chargers. I will admit I have some concerns. I mean, they just went to Denver in the altitude, came back to LA. Now on a short week, they're going to Jacksonville. Hard to go further from LA than Jacksonville. So it's not been the best and most favorable matchup, and they're getting their guys banged up. Mike Williams looked to me like he had back spasms. Hopefully he's okay, but who knows? We'll see. I have no idea whatsoever what Brandon Staley was doing. You don't give your guys rest. You get some guys banged up, and you lose the game. I mean, Brandon Staley's out here trying to hit for the cycle, the wrong cycle. All that being said, I kind of feel like the Jags won their Super Bowl, their playoff game, their whatever on Saturday night. And I feel like the Chargers are the more talented team, the more poised team, and the team with a better bet to actually win this game, which is why they're favored, even though they're on the road. Give me the better team. Give me still the better quarterback. I will lay the point with the Chargers and go Bolts.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't want to agree, but I fully agree. The Chargers are actually 4-1 against the spread as a road favorite. Even with Mike Williams, if he does play, he may not last the entire game. So I'm already considering him a non-factor. But it comes down to, and I love Trevor Lawrence. He has made strides this season as a quarterback. But collectively, if you put it in a 2-minute drill, who am I going to trust more, especially from a financial aspect of who do I have my money on? And that's going to be Justin Justin Herbert against the Jags secondary. If you look at the quarterbacks that the Jags have faced, I love them. This is my team, and it was one hell of a game that I went to. 5 straight wins. But look at who the Jags played. Ryan Tannehill, Dak Prescott, who has the most interceptions in the league right now, Zach Wilson, Davis Mills, and Josh Dobbs, who actually looked really, really well in the first half of that game. I was there. They made him look absolutely stellar, 20 of 29, and it wasn't until he was put into the 2-minute drill where those interceptions came into play. So the Jags stepped up. Trevor Lawrence, the play calling was garbage. Justin Herbert is miles ahead of the quarterbacks that they have faced. This is a huge step up in class for opposing quarterbacks. I love Trevor Lawrence. I love the Jags. Congratulations on making it to the postseason. This is where it ends.
On to Sunday, we got the warm weather Miami Dolphins on their 20th string quarterback going to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the weather is probably not going to be ideal, regardless of how you shake it down. They're going to be like, oh, it's good weather in Buffalo. It's freezing temperatures. That's great news. And that's probably about as best as it gets for Buffalo right now. So, Pam, let's start with you. The Bills are favored by 10.5. It honestly doesn't sound like enough.
No, for me, it's not. Is Tua playing? And even if he is, all questionable. Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Teron Armstead, Cedric Wilson. That's the entire offense. And now you're taking the Miami team on the road, who is historically the worst secondary in all of the NFL, against Josh Allen at home. Give me the Bills. This is an easy one. I'm not going to question it. It's a big mismatch right now with the injuries that they have. And Tua may or may not be concussed still. We don't know.
Brian, this is my issue with it. I have yet to talk to anyone who likes the Miami side of this number, and it's not 14 yet, so something's going on.
Yeah, so that's where I, start to get a little pause. I mean, still, I like it. It doesn't seem like enough. I think you're right there. Just the momentum with everything going on off the field, Damar Hamlin, just how they kind of rallied around it. A couple kickoff return touchdowns didn't hurt either. But, I think Buffalo, this is what you get when you're in that seed. You get to play playoff games in Buffalo, and most teams don't want to do that. Miami's coming in banged up. So, I don't know what's going on the other side and why no one likes that line. But right now, just looking at it, as a matter of fact, it seems like, all right, not enough points here. I'll take it. And it's weird saying that about something that high.
I'm waiting for Ross.
Yeah, Ross is jumping in soon.
He likes the dog. There's a hook.
If they just start Mike Glennon, they'll be good to go.
Hi, everybody. I'm no one. And I'm going to be taking the Dolphins and the 10.5 points. I'm also, by the way, going to be calling the game. So let's hope it's not that cold, Pat. I'll be in Buffalo in the booth for Westwood One National Radio. So be a good game for you guys to drive around and listen to while you're doing whatever you need to do Sunday afternoon. But I like the Dolphins and the points. The Buffalo Bills, a couple things, right? Number one, yeah, they beat the Patriots. They had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. When does that happen? Never. In fact, hadn't happened in 10 years. So that's not going to happen again. The Dolphins defense has actually been playing pretty darn well as of late. As of when we're recording this, we don't know who the quarterback would be, but there's a decent chance for Tua, a decent chance for Teddy Bridgewater. And then there's a chance for Skylar Thompson. The first one's really good for the Dolphins. The second one's not that bad. The third one is the other option in terms of who the quarterback could be. The Bills defense did not look good at all against the Patriots. I thought that was very disappointing, the way the Patriots were able to move the ball on them pretty easily. I'm getting the hook. The 10.5 is the key. I said it when we were talking about the Seahawks and Niners. The Bills aren't trying to win by 11 points. The Bills are just trying to win the game. I love getting 10.5 in the NFL. I'm riding with the fish. Give me the Dolphins. If they can't win the game, they can at least cover the spread.
I wanted to ask you this about the coin flip potential scenario with Kansas City and Buffalo if they end up going all the way to the AFC Championship. Do you think, because this is my mind thinking, that I just find the Bills' offense looks really good indoors, that it would be an advantage? I know the Buffalo thing's a huge advantage playing outdoors. They're used to it. I think that's fine all the way up to it. But to play Kansas City specifically, I really think playing indoors would be a huge advantage for the Bills.
Yeah, no, I don't see where you're coming with that because I just did the Chiefs-Raiders game. And that was indoors, and the Chiefs destroyed the Raiders.
They played the Raiders.
The Raiders have been in 9 straight one-score games.
So they're the Vikings
to that point, and the Chiefs blew them out. Why do you think the Chiefs aren't good indoors? The Chiefs are good indoors too.
The Chiefs are fine.
They blew the socks off the Raiders. So No. I mean, if it's in Detroit, maybe a tiny advantage, but no, I'm not with you on that one, Pat.
All right. Well, when we get to that game and it's indoors, I'm going to be loving me some Buffalo Bills in that spot. Next game, Giants at Vikings. We saw this game in Week 16. It was decided by a 61-yard field goal, which allowed Minnesota to win its 12th one-score game of the season. Essentially, they're the Raiders with good luck, and now they're the 3 seed in the NFC. The spread was 3.5 in that game, so obviously the Giants covered. It is 3 this week, Ross. I feel like everyone's always looking for an upset in the first round, and this is just very logically the game that people are going to go to. Do you have any belief that the Vikings can not only just win this game, obviously they're favorites, they should, but actually make a run here, or is this like a one-and-done spot for them?
I don't have any faith in the Vikings making a run. No, I would be very surprised if they were able to beat the Niners in San Francisco. And in fact, I think there's about a 50-50 chance they lose this game to the Giants. I mean, if you watch that game, the Giants were right with them the whole time. You just detailed the 61-yard field goal, which is why I really like the Giants and the 3 points. The Giants just rested all their guys, got them ready to go. No Dexter Lawrence, no Leonard Williams, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. These guys are well rested, oiled up. They know they can beat the Vikings. Hard to beat a team twice, especially when they're evenly matched. I think it's a field goal game either way, so I'll take the team that's getting the field goal very much. Thank you very much. Give me the G-Men and the 3 points.
I'm on the same side. Look, I think +3. You look at the first game, they've been playing all of their games are within 1 score. The Giants know they were down to it until the end, until Greg Joseph, kicked the late field goal to go ahead. I think the Giants can expose the weakness in Minnesota's defense too. I think they can eat up some clock. So I do think that the Giants could potentially win this outright, but I do really like them at +3. So that was going to be my pick with Ross there.
I mean, aside from just the rest aspect, am I impressed with Daniel Jones? I think I kind of am. He's been kind of stellar. I mean, back-to-back games of at least 71% completion. Only 1 interception from Daniel Jones in his last 6 games. Only 3 sacks in his last 3. I mean, he has been a pretty decent, more than decent quarterback, coming off 91 rushing yards against the Colts. And earlier I was talking about who do I trust more in a 2-minute drill between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. The same kind of can be said here. Who do I trust more in a high-pressure situation? Who's going to have better clock management, knowing when to go for it, knowing when to press and hold back? That's going to be Brian Dable. I really like the Giants here as well.
Okay, let me pose this question then. When we look at the NFC, and like you said, everyone's looking for this upset, an underdog. And I asked Ross whether or not the Vikings could make a run. Brian, do you think it's plausible that if the Giants win this game that they could beat the Eagles next week?
I don't. I know that they've played. I know that they've played. Say that again.
Hard to beat a team 3 times in one season.
No, it certainly is. But I just look at the roster top to bottom, and I get that. It's hard to beat a team twice. I certainly do. You've seen each other. You're plenty familiar. But I just look at this Eagles team top to bottom, and I've been saying it the whole year. On the defensive side, yes, there are the spots where they need to improve. But top to bottom, they got Dallas Goedert back. They're getting a little bit healthier. I like the Eagles. Sure, there's a chance that they could win, but I would really like the Eagles in that matchup if that's how it shakes out.
All right, really, I just want to bet the Giants 25-1 to win the NFC. So, Pam, I'll ask you. The Eagles can lose, right?
Yes, and it's going to be because of one factor. We just saw Jalen Hurts make his return. He was a little bit rusty. He had a low completion percentage. He didn't really throw 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and now that was his first game back in how many? And now he's taking another week break. It's only because of that stop and go factor that can really add an extra element here that we're not maybe expecting. So I would expect a good matchup here, and yeah, maybe an upset, sure.
So a round of Giants against the spread against the Vikings. We move to Sunday Night Football, and for the 3rd time this season, the Ravens are playing the Bengals. They split the season series. Lamar Jackson, is he going to play? We have no update at this time because we don't know. Maybe we will know in the future. Maybe it will be until kickoff, and then we will know if Lamar Jackson is going to be playing quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens in this matchup. The line is now currently 6.5. Pam, if we knew for sure Lamar was starting, what do you think the spread would be? And do you feel like this is the Lamar spread, or is this sort of like a hedge in between him and Huntley spread?
I feel like it's an edge in between. I would imagine that this would be closer to 4 if it was Lamar Jackson, but he's also missed 15 straight practices. So how good is he really going to be? I want at least Tyler Huntley in this, just as long as it's not Anthony Brown, Because if it is, then yeah, this is going to change even more. But I like the Baltimore defense in this more so than anything. I like Roquan Smith. He wasn't in that first matchup where the Ravens won 19-17. Lamar Jackson was, though. But with Smith, I mean, you've also got like a top 5 pass rush. There's 4 players that are going to force Joe Burrow out of the pocket, make those plays under pressure. And he's been better with taking sacks. He has only 6 sacks, Burrow, in his last 3 games, as opposed to 15 in his first 3. But he's thrown 4 interceptions in the last 4 games. So this could definitely be more competitive. I need clarification on the quarterback for sure.
Ross, would you play this number now and hope Lamar plays, or do you just not care for the Ravens?
I think the number is on some level based on Lamar playing, but that perhaps he won't be as effective as he normally would be. I don't have a great feel for this game. I wouldn't lay the 6.5. I would lean Ravens taking the 6.5. They were somewhat competitive against the Bengals without Mark Andrews, without J.K. Dobbins, without Lamar Jackson. I feel like this will be a close game. I mean, the Ravens have been kind of prepping for this and letting guys heal, especially Lamar, to get ready for this. So don't love this game, but I would lean to getting the points and the Ravens now.
Brian, do you think Lamar's going to play?
I get a strange feeling he is going to play. It just seems, mum's the word now. If he's going to make a return, now would be the time. And the element of surprise, in a sense, works for you. But he has missed a lot of time, but still, if he gets out there, look, he can do some damage with his feet too. So I think this number is baked in with Lamar. It feels like on the probable side, but I do think it moves a little bit more. I wouldn't touch. I don't really love this game, to be honest with you. Maybe lean Baltimore points, but since he's got a really good defense too, everyone forgets that since DJ Reader came back, in the middle of that defense, teams have not been able to run against the Bengals. So, their defense has been much improved, and I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. So I would lean Baltimore on the plus points.
Yeah, 4th best rush defense over the past 6 weeks for the Cincinnati Bengals. And if the Ravens can't run the ball, there's really not much they can do at this point, based on their current construction over the past 6 weeks since Lamar has been out. So we'll see if that changes. And we talked about the rust factor with Jalen Hurts. What's that going to lead for Lamar Jackson? Who knows? Maybe he's secretly been practicing in a different facility this entire time just to get himself ready for the first round, make a run in the playoffs, get paid $500 million, and everything will be fine for him. And when teams negotiate, it's one thing. When the league negotiates, it's another thing for broadcasting rights. But you have to think, Brian, that ESPN was salivating at the fact that they could have both the Dallas Cowboys and Tom Brady in the Monday Night Football game. That sounds like a lot of ratings for a playoff game.
Oh, I'm sure they loved it. On the other end, though, I'm not so sure I love that game in that spot. I think this one might be, a little bit of a dud. But when I look at this game, I actually think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers match up pretty well with Dallas here. And we've seen Dallas come out and have their struggles recently. Dak has been very turnover prone. I would actually lean, and I don't love this game, but I would lean Tampa Bay with points here. I actually like that pick. I have been going against Tampa Bay all year, so I'm surprised I'm doing this right now. But I think they actually match up well, and I don't think this is a blowout game based on what I've seen recently.
Ross, how do you see this going? Because in some spots, you're going to find it as a field goal spread in favor of the Dallas Cowboys on the road. But there's certain places, even without a lot of VIG, that it's dropped to 2.5. It seems like people are scared of the Cowboys, and they know what the Bucs are. They know the Bucs aren't great, but at least they feel like they know what they're getting, that they're just going to be down 19-0. They're going to stop running the ball on first down for no yards every single time, and Brady's going to pass 50 times, and they'll get back in the game.
There's another one, Pat, where the number makes a big difference for me, right? If you can get the 3, I like the Bucs because I feel like this is a toss-up game, which, man, I would not have been saying that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Cowboys-Bucs toss-up game, but something is not right with the Cowboys. All the turnovers they've had, the way they looked against the Commanders, some of these Dak interceptions, and the Bucs have looked a little bit better, I guess. I mean, I don't know how much of that was Carolina just allowing Mike Evans to beat them over the top play after play after play for 3 touchdowns a couple weeks ago. So at 3, give me the Bucs. If it's 2.5, I have another option for you, which I will tell you about in a couple minutes.
Pam, would it shock you to learn that both Tampa Bay and Dallas are both bottom 5 pass defenses over the past 6 weeks?
It does not shock me at all. These are just two teams that have trended downward for most of the season, and I'm just not interested in this game from a fan perspective. I'm not interested in this game from a betting perspective. I just don't know how you back the Cowboys right now as favorites, road favorites. Dak Prescott has thrown an interception in 7 games straight. He's thrown 2 interceptions in 5 games this season. 27th in pressure catchable pass rate. There's just like nothing. My dad loves the Cowboys and he despises Dak Prescott right now. So I'm going to make sure to stay away from my family during this matchup, that's for sure. But I'm leaning to the Bucks as well. And it's just Dak. I don't know if it's that elbow injury is coming back into play, but like Ross said, something ain't right. And there's no reason to be backing them as favorites in this spot.
Well, Ross, I wanted to run this by you. When Micah Parsons got banged up on Thanksgiving Day, he basically hasn't been the same player since. And that has dramatically affected their defense. Do you think like that's just, we're going to find out if they lose this week or next week, whenever it might be, or even after the year, that we're going to find out this is like a real serious injury?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how serious it is, but you're right. His play has dropped off, and the defense's play has as a result as well. Mm-hmm. It just feels like he's just a little bit less than what he was. I always tell people like a little bit in the NFL can be the difference and often is the difference. So, yes, I think we'll find out. I mean, every week it feels like he never practices, and they say like illness or some minor injury. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's never practicing probably tells you something about his health, and they're just trying to get him to this game Monday night.
Brian, if the Bucs just don't run on first down, I feel like they're going to win this game by 40 points.
It's amazing. You have to commit to the run, I guess, and so they do it for a little bit. It's amazing, though. You watch Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White, and a yard or two a carry. It's pretty bad. It ends up just being, it ends up being, throws, Tom Brady's making that are basically an extension of the run game, a yard behind the line of scrimmage to 3 or 4 yards past it. But, hey, who knows? I mean, Dallas, if they can get something going on the ground, highly unlikely for the Bucs. But if they can, that'd be a great thing for them. But yeah, if you're right, if they come out with the game script, hey, look, let's play like we're trailing, it might work out better for them.
Pam, I think that's going to be the case. I mean, the reason that I mentioned that because I wanted to run this by you because I know how much you like totals. I feel like the over here is a great spot for 45.
Actually, I have that on my notes. I love the over in this matchup because it's kind of like when I took the Texans last week in an under spot against the Colts. 2 subpar teams that offenses have been kind of like mush all season. You go up against each other, fireworks are going to happen. And the Cowboys, they always rebound. So even though Dak Prescott is still throwing these interceptions, they're still putting up points. And the Bucs are going to have to keep up. And we have found them figure it out. And we're finally in the playoffs. So this is when playoff Lenny finally may have an impact.
That would be nice. Hopefully he can have like 10 catches in the game or something like that and really help out Brady. All right, we need to make some serious money here, Ross. We did last week. So let's see if we can keep this rolling through with some more of Tuck's teasers.
All right, so it's very important, as always, that you make sure you're watching the line because the line is a big factor on this. So my favorite teaser option right now is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because where I'm looking, they're getting 2.5. Tease them up to plus 8.5. I mean, this feels like it's going to be a close game. If you can get Brady and the Bucs up to 8.5, I think that's a huge win. And right now, I would pair it with the Cincinnati Bengals down to minus -0.5 point. Typically, I like to go through the key numbers of 3 and 7. That's what I almost always do. There's not really another good option this week. So I'll just have the Bengals just win the game. Just win the game, Bengals. From minus 6.5 down to minus -0.5 point. Pair it with the Bucs up to 8.5. So you got a Sunday night, Monday night, probably the 2 best games. Tuck's teaser for super wild card weekend.
That will conclude the super wild card weekend edition of the Huddle presented by OddsChecker. I want to thank Ross, Pam, and Brian. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Remember to smash the like and share the show around while you're out there as well. I'm Pat Mayo, but before I let you go, you know the vibes at this point. We're giving away another $500 this month. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're already halfway there. To enter, all you got to do is subscribe to our YouTube page at OddsChecker US to automatically enter. If you want to double your chances, comment on any video. Let's make this one while you're here anyway. You just might as well throw one down. There's a great show. Way to go, guys. Love that. Even if the picks lose, it's great. So go do that. And you earn a second entry. So again, subscribe to enter, comment on a video for another entry. We're making this look easier than scoring on TCU's defense, so not that hard. Don't miss out on a chance to start 2023 with an extra $500 in your